Hi guys, yeah, so I just thought I'd do another video just to finish off the liner I did the other day. So that's a maple liner. I'm going to wrap it with a nice piece of rosewood over the top. So literally you've got your length of veneer already bent and everything like that. So all we're going to do now, take one end and just do the same thing, just feather out the edge on there, a bit of sandpaper. So the angle of the camera is not very good tonight. I just want to feather that down really nicely. It takes a little while. Rosewood's quite hard wood, so it takes a little while. I often find that I sand through the end of my thumb when I'm doing this sometimes as well. So I've got a bit of sellotape stuck to my finger. It's not going too bad. It does take a little bit with a rosewood just to feather that off. Just get that done nice. Now what I normally do with this, after I've done the liner, I don't know if you can see that, that's feathered off relatively okay. We'll see when it goes on anyway how well it's, if it doesn't I'll just keep going back at it. Right, so now we've done that, we've got a liner here. I'm just going to slide that up the pole a little bit just so it's right. So on the liner, I don't know if you can see it here, you've got the seam here, right? So with the piece that you're now going to put over the top of that, you literally want to start it a fraction over where that seam is. Okay, so just hold that there. What I want to do is I normally do 3 wrap rounds over the top of that. So literally I'll just, you know, get it round. 1, 2, 3, and again the same with how you done the liner. When you come round, I can't even see it myself now, come round to it, you literally want to cut that so with the seam on the liner where that finishes and where you started the new one, you just literally want to have that so it overlaps around about, it's a bit less than 1/4 of an inch to cut that. Okay, so let's just give that, let's just cut that off. Just trim that up. Again, don't go at it too hard because you'll end up, as you come down with the blade or knife or whatever you're using, you do stand a chance of splitting the end of the wood. So just be careful with it. Right, again, then I know some people probably don't bother sanding this outer last edge, but I always do, just because I find the finish comes out better once, especially when you're sanding it down after as well. Putting a lathe or a drill, sanding it down, it just tends to sand it more round. You don't end up with like this almost little lumpy bit one side. So that's what I tend to do anyway. So we've got that flattened out. I mean, sometimes what I do is once that's wrapped, I'll just tweak it and sand it down a little bit anyway. So literally, let's just make sure that wraps around. Hopefully it will. Yeah, so I go back at it and I literally wrap it dry. I don't glue it yet, just to make sure that that's wrapping straight. So that isn't too bad actually. It's wrapping quite straight on there at the moment, so that's not too bad. So then what I do next is I hold it and I just unravel it, keeping it tight on there. Unravel it to where the seam is. Going and going and going until you reach where that seam is, because you know it's wrapping straight. So it's a bit tough, this rosewood, but right, so you've got your piece here, which is where you're going to start gluing. So I literally just lift that up a little bit, lift it up a little bit. Now I always use a bit of thin CA on that first bit. Well, I use it all over actually, to be honest, but just a little drop in there, and then a cocktail stick just to spread that glue around that seam, and then push that down and just make sure that sticks. You might find it stick to your fingers a little bit, but okay, right, so just hold that there for a few seconds while the glue dries. Okay, that should be stuck now. Now where that comes over that other seam there, what I normally do now is, if it's a little bit ridged on there where it hasn't quite feathered down enough, what I'll then do is I'll take a little piece of sandpaper and I'll just make sure that that flows nicely round onto there, because otherwise what will happen is when you come around with the next wrap you'll get a little gap in there. So literally I just take that edge off just with a little piece of sandpaper. So I'm only using 100 grit sandpaper on this. I'm trying to do this so you guys can see it as well, but it's really difficult. Just so it flows into that liner. There we go. Just so that is smooth, that smooths round. Okay. So then literally I'll just carry on gluing that round with a CA all the way around. Okay. Gluing it round. I won't glue it now, but always pull it as I'm doing it as well. Just slightly, not too much, obviously then you stand a chance of snapping the wood. And then literally, you know, that would be it. Okay, so what you'll end up with is this. Okay, this one's actually got a walnut liner with a rosewood outer, but you'll end up with that. That's exactly how I pulled it off the thing. As you can see, you know, there's no it's perfectly round. There's no sort of odd shape to it or anything like that. Okay, nothing at all. Alright, so that's literally how I would do the next wrap round on that. Okay, and then once that's all glued and everything, I pull that off. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll glue it now. If I glue the rest of it now, I know it's a bit boring for you guys probably watching me glue this up, but at least you can kind of see how I do it then, and we'll pull it off, and I'll kind of show you what I do next. So literally, it's your CA in there, and then once again go right, feather it right back, and then just scoop it up the wood like this. Okay, and then I literally pull it as tight as I can without breaking the wood, and pull it all the way around, so just so it fits nice and tight, because you don't want any gaps in there. Okay, so that's, you know, I'd probably go around about halfway, and then just let it dry for a few seconds, just so the glue bites into there. Okay, and that's pretty much bit now. Sometimes the rosewood, it does take a little bit to bite in for some reason, but you get the idea anyway. Okay, so then we go back, carry on gluing. The thin CA kind of does, it's better I think, because it dries quicker. You're not sitting there waiting for it to dry. I know there's some guys out there that use like the really thick CA, the high viscosity stuff, and it just takes so long to dry. Plus, because it's thicker, sometimes you end up with more sort of a gap in it, so you can kind of almost see the glue line, as it were, between the veneers, which I don't really like too much, if I'm honest. But the other thing is, I mean, I've wrapped this, I don't know if it's going to wrap too straight, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't, because, you know, as I said before, I always cut these veneers, you know, I cut them to 12mm wide, but you can cut them to whatever width you want to do them, really. Just so you've got enough leeway there, just to sand it down straight, really. So I've put quite a lot of glue on here, actually, so it might be, again, pulling it tight from there all the way around. It's a bit boring, you guys, isn't it? Probably, to be honest, watching me do this, but you know, I'd rather show you than my camera's not that good because I'm just using my phone, but you know, you can kind of see how it's wrapping round. What I'll do is I'll take this off of here in a minute once it's dried and glued. So it's exactly the same as doing the liner, really. Okay, let's get that, flick that right to the edge, to the end, and then just bring that last bit round, putting pressure on it. Sometimes the end doesn't like sticking straight off, but oh, and now look, this is what happens, guys, if you get stuck, if your fingers get stuck to it. So that is probably, yeah, that is what can happen. See, now I know some guys that would probably stick that back down and just carry on with that, but for me, that is going in the bin. All right, because for one reason, I could glue that back down, but even once you've sanded that down, once you start sanding that down, you'll see where that's broken. You'll see that in the finish. So that's a no-no, definitely. So for me now, that is in the bin. Oh well, you get the idea anyway, on how to wrap that up anyway, to be honest. So you know, you're then going to pull it off, and it's going to, you know, it's going to look a little bit rough. I mean, I pulled that off as it is because that was almost glued, really. If I pull that off, so you're left with this, in this case it's masking tape, the inside, just poke the edges around like that, and it should just poke out. Should just poke out the other side. There you go, like that. Okay, and then you're sort of left with this type of thing. Just looks a little bit, you can probably see the edges there where they're a little bit rough and that. Okay, now once I've got that, I then sand down these edges, this edge and this edge, with 100 grit sandpaper. But one thing to bear in mind when you're doing that is actually keeping it square, because sometimes you don't want to end up with edges that are like this or like that. So keep checking it that it's straight on the edge. Put it on a flat surface. I mean, I generally just, you know, use something, a dead flat surface, put the ring on it like that, and I'll probably put, I'll put something square up against it like that, just to make sure that, you know, you're sanding it level, because the last thing you want is a wonky ring. You know, it might look level, but then the hole through the center will be going up like that. So always make sure that you're sanding it straight. It's a little bit, you know, it just takes it's a lot of fiddling about, but it's well worth it, trust me. And also the other thing as well is making sure that it's the same width all the way around, and I always use one of these. It's the best way, you know, check it all the way around, and as you're sanding it, keep checking it round, because then you can get, you know, you can gauge which bits need sanding down a little bit more than others. But yeah, just as you go round it like that, as you're sanding it down, just keep double checking it, that it is actually the same width all the way around. It's especially important when you're doing inlays, to be honest, because it needs to be, if you're spinning something, putting an inlay in there, like a groove out for an inlay, and it's not straight, the inlay, you'll see it straight away, it will just look wonky, it'll look like it goes down at an angle on the ring. So just bear that in mind as well. But this would have been quite nice actually. Canadian maple inside with a rosewood outer. I think I'll do another one of those. But yeah, just bear that in mind. Trying to think of anything else, just to sort of keep track of really. But as I say, once that's done, I mean I haven't quite stuck the end of that down yet, then obviously then you can start sanding it down and shaping it. The way I normally do it, I normally put a socket on my drill, and just, you know, to make it the right size for the ring, same again, I just either use masking tape, or electrical tape's pretty good actually because it's stronger. Wrap that round till you get the right size so it pops on the end of the drill like that, and then just sand away and you can shape it. I'll do another video for that. I know these things are a little bit boring, to be honest, you know, watching people sand for like half an hour. So I'd kind of rather explain it and maybe show it a little bit to you here and there, but that is how I would do that anyway. So you'll end up with basically, you know, a ring, to be honest. Okay, well I hope that's been of some help to some of you guys out there. It's just yeah, I just thought I'd do this little video tonight. I just want to show you this one actually. This is what I've actually been doing tonight. Is this one. It's got sterling silver band one side and copper band the other one. It's got a walnut outer and a rosewood inside, and I've just been fiddling around doing that one tonight. Hopefully I'll get that one finished tomorrow, all being well. Yeah, hopefully that one's going to come out really nice. And also I started this one yesterday with some, I don't know if you can kind of see that, but it's got a twisted silver wire in it. Now I'm not that keen on this, to be honest, but I'll see how it comes out. But I'm not holding my hopes up. Okay, all right, well thanks for watching guys, and yeah, so I hope it's been of some help for you. All right, take care, bye.